It's time to get this started once again. Let's see. Alrighty, yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G-Lauren33. Hope you guys are staying well and healthy. Welcome. It's another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast, and we are reviewing Monday Night Raw. As always, we are going to be reviewing the show for August 10th, 2020. The show just ended a couple minutes ago. Just got off a Discord call with my boys as we were watching it in our weekly watch party. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you guys thought of Raw before we get into the review. I'm going to be honest. With always. 2 or 3 good segments out of a 3-hour Monday Night Raw did not make a good show. I gotta be honest with you guys. Yes, I love the beginning of the show, the Seth Rollins and Dominic segment. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. That was great. The Randy Orton and Ric Flair stuff to end the show, that was pretty well. And you guys know I love Bayley versus Asuka tonight. Sasha Banks at ringside as the Raw Women's Champion. 2 belts Banks. That was great. Other than that, everything else on this show was terrible. Alright, you had the second week of Raw Underground. You had, Shayna Baszler, Riddick Moss, and you had a couple other things go on down there. Garbage. I'm sorry, but if you think Raw Underground is good, you are part of the problem with the product. Because Raw Underground is trash. It's garbage. I gotta be honest with you guys. There's nothing good. You guys want to say Raw Underground is building new superstars. Honestly, when I look at Raw Underground, I just see fake MMA. It's scripted MMA in WWE, and you can't fake MMA, and that's what WWE is trying to do with Raw Underground, and I just can't get with it. We're through 2 weeks, and I'm trying to, give it time before I can give a fair judgment of it. But Raw Underground has just been garbage these first couple weeks, and I just don't see where it's going. I don't know whose idea it was, but I gotta be honest, it's trash. It really is trash in my opinion. What else happened on this show? We had... I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, we had the return of Mickie James. I don't know. I was never a big Mickie James fan to begin with. She's great at what she does, but I'm sorry, but I didn't ask for Mickie James to come. She's not going to save the women's division. Right now, the women's division is supposed to be about Sasha Banks, Asuka, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. Those names. Why are we bringing back superstars from the past? Why? I don't want to see that. I'm not interested in it. I'm sorry. Garbage, if you ask me. And then we also have the continuation of Retribution, whatever you want to call them. Retribution is trash. Alright, it looks like a bunch of 5'7" people that are my height, that just came out of high school, just causing chaos. Why? What's their direction? What's their end game here? When you had the Nexus, form in 2010, that was great. Even though WWE fucked up on the Nexus, it was great. They actually had a direction. What's the goal here with this Retribution faction? What are they doing here? It's terrible. So honestly, and everything else that happened on this show tonight, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to say 3 segments out of, a 3-hour show. Yes, those 3 segments were great, but that doesn't make up for a full 3-hour show. I'm sorry. This show was not good tonight. We are on the road to SummerSlam. We have 2 weeks to go till SummerSlam, and still we don't even know what the card's going to look like. Like, right now, I am not excited for SummerSlam at all. Not excited for SummerSlam at all. It's just not good. Not good. But let me know if you guys are in the chat. Let me know what you guys thought of Raw as we get into the review tonight. If you guys are watching this on playback, on demand, let me know what you guys thought. As always, thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Getting back to normal. We are on the road to SummerSlam, believe it or not. We have SummerSlam in 2 weeks' time, and it still feels crazy because this does not feel like SummerSlam at all. It really doesn't. But hey, we are on the road to SummerSlam. It's going to be busy on the podcast, on the channel in the next couple weeks as we enter into, SummerSlam season. We got the Monday Night Raw Yeah, we got the Monday Night Raw review tonight. I'll see. I know I haven't been that consistent on the SmackDown reviews because I just, I haven't really been interested with SmackDown. If SmackDown shows me something good this week, I'll do a review for you guys. But next week, SummerSlam week, definitely. We have the Raw review, we have preview predictions, and we'll also have the SummerSlam live stream, all right? I usually only go live for big events, so definitely on Sunday night, 2 weeks from now, I believe that's the 23rd. We still don't know where SummerSlam is going to be. We've heard rumors that they did find a location in New Jersey or Rhode Island, one of those two places. I don't know. We haven't heard anything announced on that, but we'll just have to wait and see. We are still 2 weeks away from SummerSlam, so definitely probably by sometime this week we have to get a definite answer on what's WWE's plans regarding SummerSlam, so I'll keep you guys updated on that, but no matter what, no matter if SummerSlam's at the Performance Center, on a beach, on a boat in New Jersey or Rhode Island, on that Sunday night, I will be live. I will be live for SummerSlam live reaction stream. So we'll be live doing a SummerSlam watch party. Come through, live react, watch the show with me, let me know your thoughts. And right after SummerSlam goes off the air, we will have the review right back here on the podcast, right here on the channel. So definitely, if you guys are not subscribed yet, you guys are definitely going to want to be subscribed and have notifications enabled because it's going to be big in the next couple weeks with SummerSlam. As always, guys, make sure to leave a like on the video. It really helps us out. It pushes the podcast and the video more into the recommended section. It gets more eyes and listeners to the podcast. And definitely with the way the product is now, you need people like me that actually know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to this product. Because, man, people that say Raw Underground and people that say that this show is good are pretty delusional, all right? I'm looking in the chat right now. I see Edward. I see Drew. I see Dabia. Definitely. Thank you to everyone that's in the live chat. Definitely, if you guys are here, make sure to say hello. It's good to see you guys as always. But we're going to get into the podcast. We're going to get right into it. I don't really have an opening shoot tonight. All right, really, because nothing really happened on this show that blew my ears. I don't really have anything that I'm going to rant about. There's definitely logic gaps, as always. It's Monday Night Raw. It's 3 hours of garbage outside of 2 or 3 segments. But nothing really for me just to go off about as we open into the podcast. The big things of discussion: Seth Rollins and Dominic, which we're just about to get into, Randy Orton and Ric Flair, and Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Asuka. Those are the 3 big things we're going to be talking about on the podcast tonight. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the show started off tonight with a contract signing. We had a contract signing between Seth Rollins and Dominic, and this would also lead into Rollins versus Humberto Carrillo. Who wants to see that crap? But anyway, that's what happened here. So basically, the show started off. Samoa Joe was the moderator for this contract signing, and you guys remember last week we had that really good, it was a brief interaction, but we had a brief encounter between Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins. I love that. Even though we've seen Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins, it was in the past. It was a reminder of how good Samoa Joe is. Samoa Joe, he's on commentary, and the Raw commentary is the commentary team is trash. I say this every single week. Byron Saxton, Tom Phillips, they are garbage. Samoa Joe's the only good thing about that commentary team. And since, we've gotten used to him on commentary since WrestleMania, you forget how good he is. You forget how good he is in the ring, how good he is on the microphone. He's a superstar. And I kind of appreciate WWE actually explaining this to us. They said that Samoa could not get in any physical confrontation with Seth Rollins or Buddy Murphy because he's not medically cleared to compete per storyline. All right. I know Samoa was dealing with some actual injuries earlier in the year, but I think he's fine now. It's just that, for right now, Vince wants Samoa on commentary. I think that's the deal going on there. But definitely, they've already given us a bunch of hints that if they want, they can pull Samoa Joe from commentary and bring him back. They've already gave him a path to re-entering, the ring as a superstar with the Seth Rollins and Dominic storyline that's going on. And basically, Tom Phillips said that if Samoa Joe was to get involved in any physical matter, he would be fired right away because he's not currently a superstar. A bunch of these other things, all right. But getting into it, after he introduced both Seth Rollins and Dominic, we saw Dominic came out. Dominic actually has his own theme song now. Dominic has his own theme song, and it's kind of like a remix of Rey Mysterio's theme song. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, but I've said that about Bayley's and Seth Rollins' theme songs in the past, and they grow on me over time. So we'll see about Dominic, but I say this every single week, man. Dominic looks like a kid out of high school. He needs to get some kind of physique. Dominic, go eat a steak, bro. Go eat a steak. Get some muscle on you. Get in the gym. All right, do some dumbbell presses, some bicep curls, man. Come on, bro. You can and they officially had him sign a WWE contract tonight per storyline. So, excuse me. Definitely, we're going to be seeing Dominic in the ring more and more going forward. So. It's time, man. I can no longer let Dominic get away with the way he looks now. You're a WWE superstar. You're not a high school student anymore, bro. Get some muscle on you. Let's go. Come on. But, basically, we saw Seth Rollins call Dominic a coward because he had a kendo stick, but also Samoa Joe kind of had Dominic's back here, and I loved what Joe was saying here on the microphone. All right, he was talking about how Seth turned into the Messiah just because he was hot for a couple months when he was a babyface, and then the fans turned on him. I loved it. It was actually WWE bringing some reality, some real life aspects into Seth Rollins' character. Actually, that reminds me, I don't know if you guys saw this, but on social media over the weekend, Seth was on Instagram Live, and he was doing something for a CrossFit company that he works with. He was talking about fitness, and then he actually got on these fans because all these people in the chat were kept asking about Becky and her pregnancy. And one thing you guys noticed, Becky has not been on social media, and it's got some attention. A lot of people have been bothering Becky about her pregnancy, her being one of the more popular superstars in the company. Everyone wants to know how it's going, especially since she's having Seth's child. And I found it kind of funny. It felt like, Seth and Joe were bringing that real life aspect of Seth's relationship with the fans. Because Seth said on his Instagram Live that he didn't want to talk about Becky's pregnancy, and it wasn't, anybody's business unless he chose to make it their business. So I liked how WWE brought that real life aspect of Seth Rollins' real life, his relationship with Becky, his relationship with the fans, and how things, have kind of deteriorated over time between Seth and the WWE universe in real life, them bringing that aspect into the promo, into the storyline. That's when WWE is at its best, and I wish they would do more of that. But basically, what happens here is, basically, Seth then turned on to Dominic because, remember, Samoa was probably the best part of this contract signing, but at the end of the day, the focus is not Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins. It could be at some point, and maybe we will get that, only time will tell, but the focus on this was Seth Rollins and Dominic. And Seth turned to Dominic, telling how he should be grateful. Rollins gave him the full opportunity to succeed by agreeing to an Extreme Rules match, as he would never last in a true wrestling match. So it's been confirmed an Extreme Rules match at Summerslam, which I don't mind. It kind of fits. Dominic's not a true wrestler yet. We know he's training, but we know he's not there. Let's look at his body, bro. All right, but it makes sense with the use of kendo sticks, the whole putting people's eyes through steel steps. This is the perfect stipulation for this feud. And we saw Seth also talked about how he was forced into becoming the Messiah because the fans turned his back on him. People like Joe, people like Dominic, people like Aleister Black in the WWE universe. So I really did like that aspect of the promo. So then we saw Dominic sign his WWE contract and the contract for his SummerSlam match. So then Afterwards, we see Humberto came out, and we all know where this is going. Humberto's on an epic losing streak, all right? We all know this, all right? We have an epic losing streak here for Humberto Carrillo, and we've seen this match like 1,000 times. It's one of the things that pisses me off. Rinse and repeat. 1 week it's Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Another week it's Seth versus Humberto. Next week it's Murphy versus Humberto, and then it's Murphy versus Black. Then the next week is a tag team match. It's just say bullcrap every single time. And this is my problem with WWE. Rinse and repeat. They're so lazy creatively. They're like, oh, we have nothing for this guy. All right, let's just do this match for the 3rd week in a row, or for the 3rd time in the last 2 months. It's ridiculous. This is one of the problems with the WWE product. The lack of creativity, the lazy booking. I hate it. And we all knew where this was going to go. Seth can't lose. Right? Humberto is on an epic losing streak. We knew Humberto wasn't going to win. All right? This was a quick match. I really wasn't paying attention to it. It was after the match when things actually got really good. So basically, Rollins went with the stomp. All right, nothing special. The match wasn't anything special. But afterwards, Murphy attacked Dominic. All right, Dominic did his best to fight off the 2-on-1 scenario. Humberto, I don't know, they made Humberto look dumb because throughout this entire attack, Humberto was outside the ring. So you're telling me Humberto never could have recovered from that stomp and tried to help out, Dominic here? Like, logic gap. You're trying to make me forget that Humberto was out there and just had a match. And he's been feuding with Rollins and Murphy for months now on behalf of Rey Mysterio. Which, by the way, it has been reported that it looks like Rey Mysterio is sticking with WWE. He is very close to signing a new deal with WWE. So I believe what's probably going to happen at SummerSlam is Rey Mysterio will make his return. And he will help Dominic, especially since it's a Extreme Rules match. Rey will help Dominic get the win over Seth. That's what I think is going to happen at SummerSlam, especially with what happened tonight with that vicious attack. So basically, then Rollins and Murphy start attacking Mysterio with kendo shots, and these were real kendo shots. I loved it. You could heal, you could hear, Dominic screaming in agony. You could see the welts forming up all over his body. If you look on WWE's social media page, Dominic posted some photos, and those were vicious, like huge welts. Definitely, he's going to be feeling those for the next couple of weeks going into SummerSlam. And like Rollins was saying, oh, welcome to the WWE. Like, this is your initiation. I loved how they did this here. Dominic doesn't even look like a WWE superstar. And now his first match is going to be against, one of WWE's top performers in Seth Rollins. At is what's supposed to be their second biggest show of the year, SummerSlam. So I kind of like how they went with this whole direction here. And I just love the real life aspect. Seth staring into the camera and laughing and saying, hi Ray, come save your son at any time. I love that. And then just seeing when they trapped Dominic inside the ropes and then they were just going back and forth hitting him. They were actually hitting him. Those candle shots look brutal. And you can see thus the welts forming up on his body. I loved it because we don't see that brutality in WWE. In the Attitude Era, all the time. You get chair shots over the head, you're bleeding. All right? We don't see that with WWE. Everything looks fake and scripted. This actually looked real, it looked brutal, and it made sense for the storyline. Dominic, even though he's the son of the greatest luchador ever in Rey Mysterio, here he is getting his ass beat. He's never been in a real WWE match, right? He's only been there with his father through other circumstances. So now this is like his true initiation in WWE. And now he has an Extreme Rules match at SummerSlam against Seth. This is what he has to go through. This is the pain you have to experience. This is what WWE superstars are supposed to go through. And I like that aspect of the story. I really do. And I got to give credit to WWE. This was good. This was good, really good. I wish they had done this a little bit more on the road to Extreme Rules when they were building up Seth and Dominic. Not Seth and Dominic, Seth and Ray in that eye for an eye trash. But still, this was pretty good. I got to give credit to WWE here. This was a really well done segment. Clearly, they're going to set the way. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But if I was a betting man, we've heard the rumors about Rey Mysterio re-signing with WWE. I feel like, especially since it's a no-holds-barred Extreme Rules match, Rey will come back at SummerSlam to help Dominic get the win and continue this story. But this was really good to start off the show. Excuse me. All right, moving on. We then had Zelina Vega, Andrade, and Angel Garza come out. And you guys remember, I've been very hard on this storyline, the Raw Tag Team Championship garbage, since WWE wanted to make the stupid ass decision by giving us the Summerslam match 2 of the last 3 weeks already between the Street Profits and Garza and Andrade. Alright, so basically Zelina Vega came out, and this pissed me off a little bit. Zelina Vega is amazing on the microphone. I love Zelina Vega. But I don't know if you guys saw this on social media, but one thing that happened over the last couple weeks or the last couple days is Zelina Vega, a lot of WWE superstars are Twitch streamers. You have Paige, Xavier Woods. Zelina Vega is one of those people. All right, her and Aleister Black, they have a Twitch channel, they have a YouTube channel. I think it's called A to Z. And Zelina was streaming on Twitch with, I believe it was Kayla Braxton a couple days ago. And on Zelina's stream at her house, she was attacked by Bianca Belair. Bianca actually attacked Zelina Vega at her home. This was staged. All right, clearly, why would Bianca just randomly attack Zelina? This is just for the storyline that's currently going on TV. I'm willing to bet Zelina and Bianca are actually probably good friends. They were together in NXT over the last couple of years, but they probably staged this to help push their storyline. And I know, so I'm waiting for some dumbass to say, oh, they taped 2 Raws last week, because there's been reports that starting this Friday on SmackDown, WWE's planning to go live again. No more tape shows. They're going to start going live for Raw and SmackDown. Last week, when they filmed the Raw for last week and the Raw for this week, I know some dumbass is going to be like, oh, the reason why they didn't mention Bianca attacking Zelina on stream because, Raw was taped last week. I don't care. How hard would it have been to have Zelina or have, the commentators do a quick voiceover, right? And basically just talk about how Zelina got attacked by Bianca on stream. You're like I said, I just gave WWE credit for bringing in real life aspects when it came to the Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins interaction in the contract signing earlier. Why couldn't you do that here? You want us to feel like the Raw Tag Team Championship match is important, even though you already gave us the match twice in the last couple weeks. And here you have a chance to do that by bringing that real life aspect with Bianca's attack on Zelina, but you decide not to. You make no mention of it. Sorry. No, come on. So basically Zelina came out and Zelina talked about how she didn't do it. She'll do almost anything for her boys, but she had nothing to do with the attacks on the poisoning on Montez Ford. All right, and Bianca clearly wasn't having any of it. So wasn't Angelo Dawkins, and Angelo Dawkins came out and he had a match with Andrade. Didn't really care about the match, and plus we've already really seen this match the last couple weeks. I don't know. I believe we saw this match last week. I may be wrong, but I think we saw this match last week. All right, but the match wasn't anything special. It was all right, but it wasn't anything out of this world. But Bianca Belair came out. Bianca attacked Zelina at ringside. This caused a distraction and allowed Dawkins to win with the cash out for the 3. This would immediately transition us into the next match on the card, and we would then come back from break and have Zelina Vega versus Bianca Belair. You guys know that I love Zelina Vega. She is great. All right, especially for her short stature. She's not that tall, but she does a great job in the ring. All right, Bianca Belair, you guys know I love her as well, and I love the little, David versus Goliath thing. Bianca here is the babyface. She's powerful and athletic. Zelina here, she's sneaky, but she also has that luchador IQ, and basically she was able to transition herself out of a bunch of Bianca's attacks here. But basically the match did go on a little bit too long, because even though I like Zelina, let's be serious here, it's Bianca Belair, one of the best on the roster. So, Bianca Belair should not take 7 minutes to defeat Zelina Vega. But eventually Bianca would win with a power bomb setup and then the KOD for the win. After the match, Charlie Caruso came into the ring, interviewed Belair and Dawkins. Bianca warned Vega that she would face her wrath again if they tried anything more. Like I said, there still isn't any proof that Zelina did poison Montez Ford. This would be, in my opinion, this would be a perfect thing to use the hacker gimmick. Have some like backstage footage of, Zelina or somebody, maybe Garza or Andrade putting something in Ford's red Solo Cup. I kind of want to know what really happened. Was it truly Zelina, or was it somebody else entirely? Was it somebody from Retribution? That could be something. Maybe somebody from Retribution causing chaos on Monday Night Raw, because you have Zelina, even though she's the heel, she's out there pretty adamant that she was not the one that did it. Maybe Garza and Andrade win the Raw Tag Team titles, and that's when Zelina reveals that she was the mastermind, that she actually did, poison Ford. I don't know, but I would I hope that WWE does have some kind of plan. I don't trust WWE, you guys know this, but I would hope that WWE has some kind of plan to actually reveal, what truly happened to Montez Ford, who poisoned him, what happened, what was put in that Solo Cup. So hopefully we get some kind of, explanation for this and some kind of revelation in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll just have to wait and see. But you guys know I don't trust WWE. But Dawkins then promised that Ford would be back by SummerSlam. So not bad here. It wasn't anything special, but hey, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Don't really care about this match, to be honest, but hey. All right, moving on. We had the MVP Lounge, all right, with the Hurt Business MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin come out. So basically, and I hate this. Yes, I you guys know I've been pretty supportive of the Hurt Business. I like what they've been doing with MVP, Lashley, and Benjamin, even though I don't really want to see MVP in the ring. But honestly, whatever. MVP called out Apollo Crews to the VIP lounge, demanding he admit that he caused the lights to flicker. I hated this excuse. You have MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. These guys are supposed to be badasses on Monday Night Raw, right? They're supposed to be badasses on the show. And instead, you have MVP out there bitching and moaning about the lights flickering, saying he lost the U.S. Championship to lights. Really? That's what we're doing, WWE? That's what we're doing. I don't want to see MVP in the ring to begin with. But imagine they had Bobby Lashley, right, complaining about the lights flickering, and that's the reason why he was losing matches. That's a weak excuse. I understand he's a heel, but that's the excuse you have MVP out here talking about the lights flickering. Come on, do better, WWE. Do better. Absolute nonsense. I hate when WWE takes these lazy excuses. But basically, Apollo comes out. Apollo now he is carrying the new U.S. Championship, the belt that MVP revealed about a little over a month ago. Remember, Apollo said that he was taking the old title home and putting it in, hanging it in the room for his kids to see, so his kids could remember when their father won their first WWE Championship. But Apollo, and I'll gotta give credit. This was probably one of the best, at least promo-wise. The match, we'll complain about that in a sec. But Apollo on the mic, this was one of the probably the best promo I've seen Apollo cut. The intensity was there, and he actually looked like a legit champion. All right. And he talked about how he doesn't give a damn about Bobby Lashley. He doesn't give a damn about Shelton Benjamin. But he does care about MVP and finally shutting him up for good at SummerSlam. You guys know I don't really care about this match. I think we all thought it was going to be Bobby Lashley versus Apollo, which I care much more about. And I still think we're probably going to get that probably after SummerSlam. I don't see this feud ending anytime soon, especially because WWE's lazy like that. But definitely, You know, you see Apollo was like, the only lights that are going to go off at SummerSlam are MVPs. So, you know, Apollo's saying he's going to knock MVP's lights out, you know, clearly. So then he rushed the ring, and then he filed the Hurt Business. This was kind of dumb. This is when I started getting pissed off, because you had Apollo rush the ring, you know. Lashley and Shelton went outside the ring to attack Apollo, but Apollo was too quick. He was able to escape them. He attacked MVP, but MVP quickly exited the ring. And then you have Apollo fighting MVP in the ring, and then you just have Lashley and Benjamin just looking on like a bunch of idiots. I'm like, huh? You guys are heels, right? You're supposed to gang up on Apollo. Then we go to break, and we come back. We have Apollo versus Shelton Benjamin. All right, the match wasn't bad, but I didn't really care. But then, out of nowhere, you had Benjamin roll up Apollo for the win. So here we go. This is WWE once again. Another instance of WWE logic. Alright. WWE not knowing how to book its babyface champions. You have Apollo, your United States champion, lose clean. Clean. There's no distraction. There was nothing. Nothing. He loses clean to Shelton Benjamin, who was just a 24/7 champion last week. You have him lose clean to a roll-up? To a roll-up. 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. 2 weeks away from your biggest pay-per-view of the year. You have your United States Championship losing clean. And he's a babyface. He loses clean to Shelton Benjamin of all people. What sense does that make? And then after the bell, we see Bobby Lashley. Lashley attempts to put Apollo in the full Nelson once again, and he was about to do it, but then MVP comes in, takes the mic, and he says, don't do it because I don't want Apollo to get injured and have any excuse for not being able to defend the title at SummerSlam when I defeat him for the U.S. Championship. All right. Afterwards, MVP lets Apollo go, but Apollo decides to get a cheap shot in on MVP, hits him with an enziguri, and then decides to leave. So let me get this straight. You decide to have Apollo lose your United States Championship, lose clean, but then you have him get over or get like a little bit of payback by, you know, hitting MVP after the segment. Why did you have Apollo lose clean then? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why did you have Apollo lose clean to Shelton Benjamin if you were going to try to make up for this by having Apollo look strong at the end of the segment anyway? WWE logic. WWE logic, man. So what? What I'm expecting, and I'm willing to bet this will happen, alright, and if it does happen, you heard it here first, probably next week, since Monday Night Raw will be live next week, we'll most likely, or what would make the most sense is for us to get Benjamin versus Cruz for the United States Championship, since Benjamin pinned the U.S. Champion tonight on Raw. That's what I would expect, right? I don't know. But it's WWE logic, man. Have your champion lose clean, but just to look strong afterwards. This company, man, and its logic makes absolutely zero sense. It's dead retarded, bro, with this company. Really retarded, and I can't stand it. I hate this company sometimes, bro. Getting from bad to worse. We had a 8-man tag team match. I don't know why. I don't know who was responsible for booking this garbage. But we had the Viking Raiders, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander versus Akira Tozawa and his ninjas. Who booked this garbage? Really? And people want to say, oh, the Viking Raiders and Ricochet and Cedric Alexander aren't buried on Raw. They're going up against ninjas. Ninjas! This company, bro. I hate this. I hate this, man. Really. The Viking Raiders, who a year ago were one of the most dominant tag teams in the world. They had all the promise and the potential. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Two guys that should be shining at the top of the mid-card for WWE. Ricochet, who should honestly be one of WWE's top baby faces. But instead, you have them going up against an 8-man tag team match. Against fucking ninjas. Spectacular. Great job there, WWE. Yeah, this is what you have for these superstars. This is the best you have for a Ricochet or a Cedric Alexander going up against clown-ass ninjas. Great job there. All right. Anyway, this match lasted, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes. All right. So Akira Tozawa, he demands that all of the ninjas get in the ring instead of him, being a coward. I don't know why they have Tozawa acting like a babyface coward, but still, one of the ninjas refused. Then we see Tozawa decide to bail instead. Then the Viking Raiders hit the Viking Experience on one of the ninjas for the win, and then all of a sudden we see R-Truth, who was dressed up as a ninja, roll up Tozawa, and I think they say he's now a 38-time 24/7 champion. Who gives a fuck? Honestly, who gives a fuck? 2 weeks away from SummerSlam, and this is what we're doing. I love R-Truth, but we know he's not going to have anything on the SummerSlam card. Absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage, man. Anyway, we had Liv Morgan with Ruby Riott at ringside versus Peyton Royce with Billie Kay. And, it looks like Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are back together, but they still have a couple of issues to kink out. And basically, the Iconics made fun of the Riott Squad as, they were walking to the ring. And I did hear there was Vince was on a conference call. I don't know if it was investors or what, but there was a report going on that Vince on the conference call was talking about how high he is on Sasha Banks and Bayley's heel persona, and he was also very high on Peyton Royce, which was very interesting to me. I was like, why? Who the fuck I don't give a fuck about the Iconics. You guys know this. I say this every single week. Who gives a fuck about the Iconics? They're trash. Peyton Royce. All right, I'll say this about Peyton Royce. She's not terrible. She's not complete garbage. Billie Kay is. But the Iconics are not supposed to be anything. They're just supposed to be that heel duo that are there to enhance others. That's it. But instead, Peyton Royce got the victory here. She won with the Deja Vu. So, I don't know. This was bad. I've been saying that you should be building up Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott to be the ones to take the women's tag team titles off of Sasha Banks and Bayley, maybe at Clash of Champions. Because I'm guessing with Clash of Champions happening SummerSlam, and I'm so praying, because I'm very scared that Sasha's going to lose the title to Asuka at SummerSlam. But if Sasha and Bayley remain, the two-woman power duo, they still have all the gold after SummerSlam, I would have Sasha and Bayley remain as singles champions. So Sasha would remain as Raw Women's Champion, Bayley remain as SmackDown Women's Champion, and I would have them lose the tag titles to the Iconics at Clash of Champions. That's what I would do. All right? Because at Clash of Champions, remember, all titles are supposed to be defended. So if Sasha and Bayley remain with all the gold after that, they're going to have to defend all of their championships, which I feel like could be really cool if WWE plays it correctly. But, I don't know. Vince is high on Peyton Royce. I don't really know why, but Royce did get the victory here over Liv Morgan. So I guess this storyline is going to continue. I don't really care. I don't know why, but I don't know. That's what we are getting on Monday Night Raw. Moving on to Owens versus Orton was great, but this was probably the best match of the night. Bayley versus Asuka. This was really, really good. This was a submission exhibition. All right. Bayley and Sasha, I say this every single week. Outside of Randy Orton and, the Hurt Business, they have been the best thing on WWE TV. And it's undisputed. You can't really dispute that. Sasha and Bayley have easily been the best thing on WWE television. That's the reason why they're in the position that they are. All right? They've stepped up, and I just hope this continues. And, they've been feuding with Asuka. Asuka trying to get payback on Sasha and Bayley for Kairi Sane, because they wrote Kairi Sane off of WWE because Kairi Sane is leaving. Or she already did leave a couple weeks ago. So, Sasha came out. I hated this because Asuka is fighting to face Sasha Banks at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's Champion. She's fighting for that opportunity. But you have Sasha Banks get her entrance cut off. She's the Raw Women's Champion here. She's the focus. Sasha's the prize here. But instead you have Sasha, get cut off by Bayley. I hate that. I really hate when they do that. That shit pisses me off all the time. So Sasha comes out, all right, and she was wearing a beautiful black dress. Love it. Sasha's always looking beautiful. Bayley comes out with her, and this was a great match. Asuka attacked Bayley at the bell. Bayley fought back. The lights were flickering back and forth, but this was great. Sasha took multiple opportunities to distract the referee and help her best friend, and she took a couple cheap shots at Asuka. But Bayley, like I said, this was a submission exhibition. Bayley used every opening to target Asuka's legs, using a lot of submission transitions. People don't understand how underrated Bayley is. Hey, Bayley and Asuka have fantastic chemistry. Asuka has amazing chemistry with every member of the Four Horsewomen. When you look back, right, years from now, at this era of WWE, when we look back at WWE history, man, when we think of the Four Horsewomen and we think about who was that one other person in the WWE locker room that was able to go up against all the Four Horsewomen and have magic, you're gonna think of Asuka. All right, Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Just look back at Becky Lynch's career. You could probably say Becky's greatest rivalry outside of Sasha, Charlotte, and Ronda was Asuka. All right, let's look at what they did with Becky versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble the last 2 years. They've had pure magic. Great stuff. Great matches between the two. Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. At WrestleMania a couple years ago, when Asuka should have never lost an undefeated streak, but, the Charlotte Flair agenda. And, a couple months ago, Asuka and Charlotte had some fantastic matches, right? Asuka versus Bayley. Go see the Asuka versus Bayley match back from NXT TakeOver back in, I think it was 2016. Back when Bayley was still babyface and had the ponytail, and Asuka was just became NXT Women's Champion. Go back and watch that match. It's one of Bayley's underrated matches. All right, and of course, Asuka and Sasha Banks, the two best female wrestlers in the world, if you ask me. I don't gotta tell you how good, because in my opinion, Asuka versus Sasha Banks from Monday Night Raw, the night after the Royal Rumble 2018, that was Asuka's best match on the main roster, in my opinion. All right, that match was fantastic. Plus, Sasha Banks versus Asuka at Extreme Rules, just a couple weeks ago, even though the ending wasn't that good, but you guys know. Plus, then Asuka and Sasha Banks last week on Monday Night Raw, or 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw when Sasha became Raw Women's Champion, and then we have another match coming between Asuka and Sasha Banks at SummerSlam, which should end this rivalry, which is going to be fantastic. All right. But getting back into the Asuka and Bayley match, submissions. All right, Bayley had a beautiful sunset bomb into the corner. Then Bayley mocked Kairi Sane. All right, Bayley had the match won, but then she started, getting cocky and overconfident. She turned her back on Asuka. I thought what was going to happen here is Sasha would get involved. All right, and that would cause Bayley to win. If you guys remember, a couple months ago, I think when Bayley cost Sasha the Money in the Bank qualifying match against Lacey Evans, I thought they were going to, reverse, like vice versa here. But Sasha did not get involved. Instead, Bayley got too confident, mocking Kairi Sane. Then she got rolled into the Asuka locked and tap out. So Bayley lose or loses clean. All right, this is the second time in the last couple weeks that Bayley's lost clean. Remember, she lost to Kairi Sane about 3 weeks back before they wrote Kairi Sane off television, and now this week she loses clean to Asuka. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know, we knew Asuka was gonna win this match. There's nobody else built up to go up against Sasha Banks. Plus, you have the whole story of Asuka trying to get payback. I cannot wait for Asuka versus Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. Hopefully we get a better finish this time. I am just scared that Sasha is going to lose. I pray that I am wrong, but I'm hoping that we get Sasha winning at SummerSlam, because what the fuck was the point of giving Sasha the title in the first place if you're just going to give the title right back to Asuka? I hope I'm wrong. And we come out of SummerSlam, go into Clash of Champions with Sasha and Bayley remaining with all the gold. But I am scared that we may not be getting that. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe we see some kind of stipulation, because afterwards Sasha did go to attack Asuka, but Asuka was able to escape. All right, Sasha held the title in the ring, which is always a beautiful sight. Sasha with championship gold is the best sight in the world in WWE, in my opinion. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Will we be seeing, is there going to be some kind of, stipulation for the match at SummerSlam? Maybe a submission match, maybe like last woman standing, or something. I would expect, because if you look at the graphic, you have Sasha and Asuka, and it shows Bayley in Sasha's corner, so Sasha, or Bayley's gonna get involved. And we also know on SmackDown on Friday we will be having a triple brand battle royal to determine Bayley's opponent at SummerSlam. All right, so I didn't do a SmackDown review this week, but I'm just going to say right now, my prediction is Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is going to be the one to challenge Bayley. I don't think Rhea Ripley is going to win. Why would she? But if you look at it, why would they do a triple brand, why would they do a triple brand battle royal if it wasn't going to be somebody from NXT? Right, they could do something, maybe Bianca Belair, but I don't see them doing that, especially with Bianca on Monday Night Raw. All right, why would you get NXT involved if you weren't gonna have somebody from that brand win? All right, it's not gonna be Naomi, because there would be no point in getting Monday Night Raw and NXT involved if it was gonna be a SmackDown superstar that would win. Plus, I think Naomi's still feuding with Lacey Evans, so I don't know. But I just wanted to give my prediction for that really quick. It's going to be interesting. Definitely SmackDown with this triple brand battle royal. There's a lot of different names, and Bayley's already beaten basically everybody on SmackDown, so it's going to be interesting to see who they have face her at SummerSlam. But Rhea Ripley makes the most sense if you look at the landscape right now. Rhea Ripley's really the only person. Maybe Mia Yim. But, it's going to be a babyface, right? And I don't see it being Bianca Belair. Plus, Asuka's already going up against Sasha, so I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley to be the one to go up against Bayley at SummerSlam, winning this Battle Royal. Let me know who you guys are going to think in the chat. Edward says a lot of people want Sasha to get the SmackDown Women's Championship. Even I do as well. All right. Edward also says, I'm scared that Charlotte's going to be added into the Battle Royal. Charlotte's out right now with injury or elective surgery, whatever that crap is. So I don't think we need to worry about Charlotte right now. Anyway, getting into Raw Underground. That garbage. For real, man. Garbage, bro. We have Riddick Moss. First, Riddick Moss made his return to Monday Night Raw. If you guys remember, he was the 24/7 champion for a couple weeks, and then he lost the championship to R-Truth like everybody else. Riddick Moss won a quick battle here. I didn't give a crap. He was screaming like, "Do you know who I am? All right, do I have your attention now? No, you don't. I don't give a fuck about you, Riddick Moss." You had Arturo Ruiz. All right, Shane called him. I think he said he's like a 17-time amateur wrestling champion in Brazil. I don't know who he is, but he won his match really quick. And then finally, the big one, Shayna Baszler. This was actually a spoiler, because this was revealed earlier in the day. If you guys were looking on Twitter, it was revealed that Shayna was going to be on Raw Underground. This was garbage. This was garbage. This is the what you have for Shayna Baszler? Really? You think putting Shayna Baszler in Raw Underground is going to work? So basically what happens here is Shayna stepped up to this man named Kato. He's that big guy that we saw last week on Raw Underground. I don't know. I would have much rather seen Shayna go up against this Kato guy instead of see what they did with Shayna. So basically what happens here is Shayna steps into the ring, and then these three scrubs, these three people that nobody knew of, right? They step into the ring, and Shayna took them out pretty easily. Like that. It was so stupid. She made one of them tap out with the Karafuda clutch, but it was dumb. It wasn't anything special. It was retarded. I really do hate when WWE does this crap. Like, really. This is the best you have for Shayna Baszler? Like I said, what I would do is I would have Sasha Banks beat Asuka at SummerSlam, and then I would start a Sasha Banks and Shayna Baszler feud going into the fall, going into Clash of Champions. That's what I would do. All right? Not this crap. What is Raw Underground doing for anybody? Legit, it's scripted cage fighting. It's scripted street fights. That's what it is. Everything you see in Raw Underground is stuff you see in the UFC. It's bad. You see Shayna throw these fake elbows, these fake punches, and it's just terrible, bro. If I want to see this street fighting, I go watch UFC. I know where to go. I don't come to Monday Night Raw for this crap. It's garbage. I'm sorry, it's garbage. And nobody can tell me otherwise. I hate it. Alright? I hate it. So bad. Second weekend to Raw Underground, and gotta be honest with you guys, it's bad. I don't see who's being built up. I don't see what it's doing for anybody. I don't see where this is leading. Like, you guys want me to be patient with it. I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to be fair, but I gotta be honest. What I'm seeing right now is pure garbage. Pure garbage for Raw Underground. Don't like it at all. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, Mickie James made her return to Monday Night Raw tonight. Don't care. Just had to mention that. Well, are we going to build up Mickie James to go up against Sasha Banks? Not that I would mind. That could be a really good match, but I'm sorry. We should be building up the future of the women's division. Names like Ruby Riott. Names like Liv Morgan. Names like Shayna Baszler. Names like Bianca Belair. I don't want to see freaking Mickie James going up against Natalya, which was announced for next week on Raw. Because, you know, we had Lana and Natalya coming. They were dressed in the same outfit, talking about TikToks and hashtags. Get the fuck off my TV with this garbage. I do not care about Mickie James or Natalya or Lana. Shut, please. So I just had to get that out of the way. Garbage. Garbage. Am I forgetting anything? Don't think I am, but garbage. All right. But we had Bayley versus Asuka was great. Like I said, I already mentioned that. But then going into the main event, we had Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. This was a great match. Remember, this match was set up by Ric Flair last week on Monday Night Raw. All right, but this was a really good match. Randy won. Owens mocked Orton, and then Orton hit him with the RKO out of nowhere. That's how the match ended. But the big story was after the match. After the match, we go to commercial break with Orton saying, oh, we're going to celebrate, but me and you need to have a conversation. All right. And this was really emotional. I don't know why WWE got this emotional, but based on what WWE was trying to tell us, this was supposed to write Flair off of television because WWE feels like they don't really need Ric Flair here in this segment or in this feud, which I agree. We're in a pandemic. We don't need a 71-year-old Ric Flair at the Performance Center when he's not even really being used for anything important. So basically, we cut back. Orton calls Ric Flair a liability, and he said that Flair had no business making a match between him and Owens. It was unnecessary, all right? And he said that the only reason why Flair made the match is because of his ego. He called Flair a washed-up junkie for the spotlight, which was crazy. He also called him a whore for attention, and also talked about the reason why Ric Flair holds Orton so highly is because he believes Orton is the son that he never got to have. Because you guys know Ric Flair did lose his son a couple years ago. And I'm just sitting here watching with my friends, and I'm just like, damn, why is WWE getting so emotional with this nonsense, right? So then we saw Flair take the microphone, and Flair said that he took those words personally, and he wanted Orton to know how much he respected his ability, and how he wanted Orton not only to beat Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, but he wanted Orton to go on to be the one to break his 16-time world title record, the one that he shares with John Cena. And Flair said, that's not John Cena's world title record, it's my world title record. All right, I still hope that Cena comes back one day to claim that record. It needs to happen. All right, but Flair talked about being in ICU and how at his age, now he's just Charlotte's father, and he wants the attention because at his age he doesn't really have much left to live for. All right, which this was emotional. I don't know why WWE got so emotional here with this, but they did. Then you knew what was coming here. They hugged. All right, but then Orton hit Flair with a low blow, kind of, symbolic, because you guys remember Ric Flair did hit Kristen with a low blow a couple weeks ago. Then Orton punted Flair. The lights were flickering, so I could tell WWE edited it, because I knew Orton didn't really punt Flair. And they weren't going to have Orton do that. All right, they just, edited it out with sounds and stuff like that to make it look like Orton really punted Flair, but we know he didn't. Then Drew McIntyre came out to make the save, and McIntyre told Orton he would pay for his actions. I did like the intensity here with McIntyre. McIntyre was like, you son of a bitch, you took out another legend. How selfish could you be? So I liked what they did here with the end of this segment. I liked what they did here with the end of the show. Like I said, Ric Flair should not be on television in the first place, but I am surprised WWE got this, emotional with it. Orton talking about, Ric Flair being a junkie and his dead son, and bringing all this other stuff into it, and Flair talking about his being hospitalized and being in the ICU and what he's living for. Like, they got really emotional with this. But overall, this was a good segment to end the show. It did bring more intensity with the McIntyre and Orton feud. And like I said, going into SummerSlam, there's really only two matches I care about right now. I only care about McIntyre versus Orton and Sasha versus Asuka. It's kind of sad because we're 2 weeks away from what's supposed to be the biggest card of the year outside of WrestleMania, but it just doesn't feel like that because of the pandemic, plus WWE's, inability to be creative. I'm sorry, I just gotta be honest. But outside, Sasha and Bayley versus Asuka. Bayley versus Asuka was the best match on the card tonight. Owens versus Orton was great, and what they did with Ric Flair afterwards was good. And the opening segment with Dominic and Seth Rollins was good. But outside of that, there was nothing else on the show to be, to care about. And even though those three segments were great, the show was trash. Gotta be honest. And I can't give a thumbs up for a show with only 3 good segments. I can't. It's a 3-hour show. Sorry. But either way, that's about all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys think the show was good? What was your favorite segments? Like I said, there was some good segments on this show, but it's a 3-hour product. If this was a 2-hour Raw, I would probably give it a thumbs up. But for the fact that it's 3 hours and there was so much garbage with like Raw Underground, Mickie James and Natalya and Lana and all this other crap, I can't. Let me know what you guys thought. But thank you guys for joining me on the podcast tonight. I'm going to get out of here. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Yeah. Let me know what you guys thought of Monday Night Raw tonight. But as always, guys, thank you guys for joining me on the podcast. Stay safe and healthy. I'll see you guys later.